Hello there, and welcome back to Szpakowo. So we're having a summer hailstorm by the looks of it, and that isn't good because we need to harvest our wheat this month. Let's see when it's going to stop. It's looking like it's going to stop fairly soon. So let's give our horses a ride while we wait for it to stop hailing, and then we can continue on with the harvesting and getting our pasta production up and running. In between episodes, I did a couple of things. I did a little bit of research into the spinach harvester. So it actually costs $13,750 per hour to rent, not $6,000 like I thought. So that's why it was costing us so much to operate and use. And the second thing, spinach will regrow after 3 months, so it will cost us the same to return the harvester and rent it again as it will for us to just leave it sitting on the farm for those extra couple of months. So it's going to stay where it is. We'll eat up the additional cost of it just sitting there for the extra couple of months, because the only difference would be that we'd just have to go back over to the store and collect it if we returned it and re-rented it. Also, in between episodes, I downloaded an extra mod called the More Flowers mod. So if you remember in the last episode when we were looking in the pasta production at the different pasta recipes, there was corn flour, and I think there was a pea flour one as well. So I looked at the mod details, and it is designed to work with the extra flowers mod. So I downloaded that, and once we get into a positive balance, I'm going to upgrade our grain mill with the More Flowers grain mill. Okay, so horses ridden and brushed. Let's take a look. How much are they worth? It's going to be approaching their time to sell them soon. I'm wondering if it's worth keeping them until they have babies, or whether we should just offload them. 2572 at the moment. What do we need for our further levels of VIP order? So we need grey horses for the next level, and then seal brown horses. I think we'll probably get rid of them fairly soon. Okay, so next let's take a look at our furniture. How's it doing? So that is at its best sell price. So let's get that loaded up and taken over to Szpakowo. And also the sugar looks like it's in a very good price as well, so we can offload that. So there's a nice 112,000 to be had out of that. So let's go jump in our trailer, or jump in our tractor rather, and we'll ditch the small trailer here. We'll head over to the furniture, we'll head over to the carpentry, and we'll get ourselves loaded up with furniture. And then we'll bring the trailer down here, load up with sugar, and then we'll head over to Szpakowo. So I will get some of that done, and I will be back with you shortly. Okay, so we've loaded up all of the sugar and we're on our way over to Szpakowo. This load is safe, right? It falls within the health and safety standards for Szpakowo. I think it does, but unsure as I'm fairly new around here. As far as I'm aware it does, but correct me if I am wrong. So we're due to get around 100,000 euros, and I'm just remembering that I have to take these corners really slowly, because if this trailer tips up, I'm going to be in big trouble. So we're on the final stretch of road on our way to Spaktrans. Definitely what one might call a wider load we've got here. Being careful not to bump into the cars. Oh, hit the car there. Never mind. Okay, so here we are at Spaktrans. Let's see how much we get for this massive load of sugar and furniture. It's an interesting combination. Sweet furniture. So, let's get ourselves unhooked. We're probably going to have to do some tidying up here. Oh no, it's taken most of it. Perfect. Well, there we go. Got 111 there, plus 12,390, so 123,000 euros. That's a really decent amount. So now we can build our upgraded flour production, and then we can move on with harvesting the wheat and getting our pasta production set up. So I will see you back over at the farm. Okay, so we are back at the farm, and first thing I'm going to do is fire up our harvester, and I'm going to let the AI get started on harvesting our wheat, because then... Oh wait, our wheat's not ready. I thought our wheat would be ready this month. I thought we planted it in March. It's not ready till next month. Okay, so we're not harvesting the wheat this month then. In that case, let's first of all take a look at this upgraded production. So what I'm going to do with this production is take a snapshot of where we're at with it. Okay, so I'm just going to do that on my phone here just to show the amounts we have in the production, and then I'm going to make a mental note of our amount of cash, 114,561. Next thing, I'm going to sell this, and I'm going to build the upgraded productions, the upgraded grain mill. So it's this one here. It's exactly the same size and shape. We're just going to build it in exactly the same spot as well. And then we're going to 114,561. That's what it was, wasn't it? So we're going to set the money to 114,561. There we go. So we've upgraded the flour mill to the one that can produce more types of flour. And now I'm just going to go into it, and I'm going to set the amount of grain we had to what it was previously. Now let's go into this, and we can see we've got an upgraded grain mill that can take peas, soybeans and corn in addition to its current fill type. So that just gives us some more options going forward. So let's set these all to distributing. There we go. Now it's working. Okay, so that is that taken care of. Now what are we going to do for the rest of the month? We could look at mowing our grass again to get that chop of grass that we wanted for silage to top up our TMR production. I think that's going to be ready now, isn't it? It's on growth stage 3 of 4, which means you get a little bit less, but from the research I've been doing, it's not really that much less. So given that we don't have anything else to do this month, I think this might be a good bet. So we'll mow our grass, get it turned into silage, and I will rejoin you once we've made a little bit of progress. So that is the mowing and windrowing complete. So I didn't do a super detailed mow around the edges of the field this time because I really couldn't be bothered. I just wanted to get it done so we could so we could get some silage fermenting, and then we can move on to harvesting our crops next month. So yeah, I think we'll be fine with the amount that we have. We don't need an absolute ton of silage. We're not doing it for money, we're just doing it for TMR. So yeah, I definitely went a little rougher around the edges and skipped out on some of the corners this time. Alright, so next up is baling and wrapping. So I think we're running out of bale net, aren't we? Yeah, it looks like we are. So we'll get this finished and then we'll probably have to go over to the store and pick up another one at some point. So I'll carry on with this and I will be back with you shortly. Okay, so that is the baling and wrapping done. Those bales can be there fermenting into silage, and once they are ready to be dumped in the TMR mixer, we will do that. Just want to take a quick look at the TMR mixer because it looks like there are 2 hay bales stuck in the feed bin. Let's take a quick look at that. Mixed feed, cows. Oh, that's strange. Why is there hay stuck in the input? It's not full. I wonder maybe we need to grab the bale spike and just kind of shift it around a little bit. Let's do that. And we'll give the bales a little bit of a poke and see if they're accepted into the feed mixer. Ah, there we go. They got scared of the bale spike. I mean, if you had a big spike like that looming over you, you'd probably do what you were told, wouldn't you? Didn't even have to touch them. Okay. I think that is everything for July. So what we're going to do next is skip through to August and do some more harvesting. So I will see you there. Alright, so welcome to August. Let's get started by taking care of our horsemeisters. So Brown Beast first, let's take him out for a ride. Oh, looks like our spinach has gotten a ton of weeds in it. I'm thinking that we're not going to be able to spray that at this point because we're going to destroy the crop if we do. I didn't notice that there last month. Maybe it was there and I just didn't notice it. Anyways, the option is to either go over the field with the sprayer and destroy some of the crop that we drive over, or to just leave it. I think we're just going to leave it. I mean, we got 70,000 litres last chop. I think we're probably going to get about 50,000 this time around. Been thinking what we're going to do with the excess spinach because the pasta production is full. I'm wondering if you can dump it just like you can with the root crops there. If you can, that's perfect. If not, I really don't know what we're going to do with it. We'll have to figure that out once we start pulling it in off the field. Okay, that's our horses ridden and brushed. Let's take a look at our fields and see what we have to do this month. So we have our sorghum in this field to take care of, and then we have our wheat in this long field. I think we're going to take care of the wheat first, then we can get it into our pasta production and get that started. And then we can focus on the sorghum afterwards because that's going in our grain mill, and our grain mill already has enough sorghum to be producing for now. So let's jump in our harvester and start the wheat harvest. I'm wondering whether we should let the AI do some of this. I suppose we don't really have too much else to do, so we can just do it ourselves. Yeah, it's probably a good idea. So we'll just grab the header off of its trailer here. Thinking about what to do in terms of the rice oil. We're going to have to build that little oil mill, and we can throw the long grain rice in it this year, and then that can be producing the rice oil we need for the VIP order. We'll go around this field this way and make sure we've got the swathing on. How do you do the swathing again? It is comma. There we go. So make sure we got the swathing on because we could use the straw for the TMR mixer, and whatever we don't use we can throw into the cow barn, and the cows can do whatever they do with it to produce manure. Okay, so it looks like we're getting a pretty decent yield here. In fact, it looks like we're getting a very decent yield. 16, 17 tons per hectare. Yeah, 120% yield, so this is going to fill up very quickly. I estimate 35, maybe 40,000 litres. Let's see. Anyways, I'll carry on with this, and I will see you in a bit. Okay, so we have finished harvesting the wheat, and the AI worker did most of it, and we kind of chimed in where we had to. We got other things done in the meantime, like windrowing and starting the baling. And you probably noticed, but something I realized when I went to deliver the first load of wheat to the pasta production is that it doesn't require wheat, it requires flour. Of course it does. Makes sense. Why would it take raw wheat, turn it into pasta? It needs to go via the grain mill to make flour. But I didn't realize that until I tried to deliver it and it told me it wasn't accepted. So all of this wheat is being dumped in the grain mill to make flour, which is in turn being distributed between the bakeries and the pasta production. Now, what I'm thinking I'm going to do is halt production on the bakeries and just have the pasta production running, because it's faster and I think it's going to be more profitable, because the bakeries are quite slow to produce, and I think that we will make more money just by having the wheat distribute to the pasta production. It does of course mean as well that we can use sorghum as input for the pasta rather than wheat, which is quite handy. I'm just going to grab this little piece of wheat down here. Don't think you're escaping. There we go. And it can even deposit its little bit of straw onto the pile there. There we go. Yeah, we can even use our sorghum, which is better yielding, which is better conversion to flour than wheat. We can even use that for the pasta production going forward. We did need to plant wheat this year anyway to get some straw for our TMR production, so we didn't make a mistake by planting it, but now we know that unless we need straw, we don't need wheat at all. We'll stop distributing there, and then let's take a look at our pasta production. Is it actually producing anything? It is producing. See, so we've got 600 litres in there now, and how much have we produced? We produced 675 litres already, so I think this is going to be way better. The flour was starting to build up in there, even with the bakeries running, so maybe we can leave them both running for now. Yeah, we'll leave both of these running for now. And taking another look at this, yeah, we'll plant some corn later this year, start producing rice pasta at some point in the future. Let's fire up regular pasta as well. So with that, I think that we will turn this off because it will use the flour faster. I really wish there was a way to choose where you can distribute the outputs, but there isn't for now. And let's see what we have in here. We've got 30,000 litres, almost 30,000 litres of wheat. We will have 30,000 once we empty. Actually, we do need to empty the harvester into the grain mill because we have some wheat in it. What was our total wheat harvest? I think it was around 35,000, I think. So that will last us very well. What we'll do next is start the harvest on the sorghum field, and then we'll empty the trailer into the grain mill, drive it over to the sorghum field so it's ready to empty the harvester when it gets full, and then we'll continue collecting up the straw from the wheat field. So I will continue with that, and I will be back with you shortly. Okay, so it looks like myself and the AI worker finished in synchro. The AI worker finished harvesting the sorghum field pretty much at the same time as I finished baling up the straw. So we're just reversing the baler into here. We'll switch off the tractor and let's take a look at what's going on over here. So we'll start up the harvester. Let's deposit the header back on its trailer. And the worker did a pretty good job here. Didn't miss any patches. So yeah, definitely can't complain at that. We'll get the header put back on its trailer. Then we'll get the sorghum unloaded into the grain trailer. And then we can call our sorghum harvest for the year complete. Get the grain tank emptied. Now there was almost another full tank. I didn't look when I was in the harvester at how much sorghum it had left in it. But it did say it was 80% full a little while before it finished. So it's almost another full tank in there. That's a pretty decent yield. Almost 15,000 litres. So that'll keep our grain mill chugging away for another little while. I would like to upgrade the grain mill as our next production upgrade, and that's almost 300,000 euros though, so that's going to be something we have to commit to and work towards over a period of time. I think that makes the most sense because we can have plenty of productions that use flour and use grain. I believe there's also another production for making pizza. So flour has a wide variety of uses, and I would like to be able to produce it more than we are capable of currently. So yeah, that's going to be our next large production. So let's get this load emptied into the grain mill and we'll take stock of what's going on. Okay, so that is all of our sorghum emptied into the grain mill. We'll put our tractor and trailer over here because that can be ready for the rice next month. Let's grab our harvester. We need to grab some fuel because our harvester's squeaking of thirst. Let's spin ourselves around here, get back over. We'll put the header and the trailer over by the rice field, and I'll probably fill up in between episodes. Let's take stock of what's going on in our productions. So, we didn't turn this one back on, did we, for bread? Oh no, we turned them both off because we turned the additional pasta production on. So, how are we doing there? We'll leave that for a couple of months and we'll monitor it and we'll see how the flour balances itself out. What do we have in the output here? So we have 680 litres and 380 litres of spinach pasta. So that means that if we go over to our pasta production, we should have our first pallet of pasta. There we go. Veggie pasta. 1 full serving of vegetables per 3.5 ounce portion. There you go. One of your 5 a day, even though it only has spinach in it. And actually, we can lift this ourselves. Yeah, even with super strength off, because it only weighs 160 kilos. So that's something to bear in mind when we come to loading up the trailer when it comes to selling it. Let's take a quick look at sales. So when is the pasta good to sell? Spinach pasta, it's this month actually, August. Well, we won't sell it this month. We'll wait for next year. We'll have a whole year of built up pasta to sell. Okay, I think this is a great place to leave this episode. Hope you've enjoyed following along as we harvested our wheat and our sorghum and got our pasta production going. If you are enjoying, please do give the video a like and consider subscribing to the channel. And I will be back very soon with the next episode. Until then, bye for now.